How does the use of blockchain technology, specifically EBSI, contribute to ensuring the security and authenticity of credentials? Like, how does it work?
In very plainly, it works as if you are issued a credential, then you have it in a certain format, the EBSI format. And that format is recognized in Europe as a legal format, and it is seen as I think you would say, an immutable record. So therefore, blockchain kind of creates this layer of it's tamper-proof and it's unbreakable in the sense, and it increases integrity and so forth. So that's kind of what the blockchain does. So when you share this with your network or employer, then they would recognize this as an immutable and very credible record according to your skill or competence or whatever it is that you're having verified. Okay. The blockchain as such, it's like a decentralized network, right? So that means that we are 100,000 or a million verifiers of that credential. So that is also part of, if you look at it, it's not just one person recognizing this credential. It's a lot of the decentralized network is basically a lot of people saying, yes, this is true, this is true, this is true, this is true. So there's a lot of verifiers on this blockchain acknowledging that this is a record that is accurate, that it is valid, and that it is related to the specific person and so forth. So that is one of the strong parts of that is not just one entity or one organization recognizing the specific record, the credential in this sense. So therefore, EBSI, we think here that EBSI is going to be the prevailing standard for a lot of digital assets, not only learning credentials, but also other types of credentials supporting your identity, because it has this cross-border recognition layer. It enforces on the European skills agenda. One of the things that is talked about is mobility and transparency, and EBSI certainly speaks into those layers. And so I think, we definitely think EBSI is one of the prevailing standards to support our digital identity.
Do you ever find that they are like apprehensive about the use of blockchain technology in compliance?
Yeah, I think if you look at the landscape of education providers, then if you are a public institution working with blockchain and in that sense paying with cryptocurrency, it can be an issue. So working with a blockchain where you have to pay with bitcoins, that would mean you in some sense would have to have a Bitcoin account. If you have to handle that, you might need to go through a money laundering program to actually be allowed to and so forth. So we actually handle that on behalf of a lot of our customers here. So we are paying on their behalf. So we have been through this white money launderer procurement process and so forth, and allowed to do that. So we can handle that, but it can still be an issue that they don't want to be associated with something like cryptocurrencies, because there's so much still going on in this space and nobody really knows where it's going to land. So EBSI, on the other hand, is a different model. It's not based on a payment with cryptocurrency for transactions. You don't pay a Bitcoin to add your credentials to that blockchain. So it's based on a trust model rather than a payment model. So therefore, that specific blockchain is seen to support also the public part, especially all the universities and governmental organizations issuing different, credentials like driver's license, social security cards, learning credentials, all those official credentials supporting our identity. But EBSI is still really new. It's still being piloted, so it's not nothing is set in stone. It is still we're doing a lot of piloting, and it seems like this could be a way forward. But it's also about adoptability. So if nobody is adopting it, why should you as an institution issue with this specific technology? That wouldn't make any sense if nobody cares about it or if it's not being adopted. But it looks like there's a huge adoption around that is still being piloted. So there's a lot of unanswered questions still related to this European blockchain.
How long has EBSI been piloted for?
The first versions of EBSI was piloted maybe, 3 years ago. There was a case, with the university in France. And now there's some use cases on learning credentials and social security cards. And we are part of the diploma use case right now, started here in January and running the next 2 years. Pilot this specific variation, and other projects will arise over the next, this year and the next, to pilot other types of credentials using this technology. So I think we are looking into, quite a few years before we have something that's operational and running and adopted.